Hello, hello. Okay, very good evening, everyone. A warm welcome to each one of you on this learning session. I hope I am audible to each one of you. If yes, please do respond in the chat window so that I know you all can hear me clearly. Okay, okay. Thank you so much for the confirmation, Ritu, Kamlesh. We will quickly start the session today. So for the day we have the topic the 7QC tool, and in this session we will be discussing the overview of all the 7QC tools, the usage of these tools. To start with, first let's understand what is 7QC tool and why do we use 7QC tools. So 7QC tool is for process improvement, which is very systematic and scientific method for any kind of problem solving, and these tools are used for product and process improvement. It is used to solve almost 90% of your shop floor problems very easily, and it improves our workplace. So these are the major, if you ask why 7QC tool or what is 7QC tool, you can say that these are the scientific and systematic methods which will help you in solving any kind of problem easily. So let's move further and see which are these 7QC tools. We will learn the name of each of the tool and then we will go one by one. While I am not going to cover the entire the topics with the complete details, but yes, we will be covering the overview of each of the tools, and maybe in the upcoming sessions we will be discussing in depth about each of the tools. So these are the 7 tools that comes under quality control tools. First one is flow charts. Second one is cause and effect diagram, which is also known as fishbone or Ishikawa diagram. Third is check sheet. Fourth one is histogram. Fifth is Pareto chart, scatter diagram, and the last one is control chart. So these are the 7 tools that falls under the quality control tools, or we call it as 7 basic quality tools also. So now we will move and see one by one about all of these tools. What is this tool, what are the usage, and how these tools look like. So that is what we are going to cover now. So let's move forward. First one is flow chart. What is flow chart? So flow chart is a kind of diagram representation that illustrates the sequence of operations to be performed or to get the desired results, and it is also known as a process flow diagram. So in a simple language, if I have to tell you, any work that we do or any kind of project that we do which will involve stepwise step activities. So flow chart we use to make sure that whatever steps that is required to perform that activity or complete the activity, we will create a chart which will talk about stepwise step activities through which you will be able to accomplish your project, or by following that chart, by following that steps, you will be able to complete your activity. So simple language, layman language, this is what flowchart is. What all scenarios wherein we will be using flowchart? So planning a new project, documenting a process, managing workflow, or auditing process. So these are some of the some of the reasons why we will use flowchart, or maybe you can say these are some of the scenarios wherein we will use flowchart. Here what I have done is these are some of the symbols that we use in creating a flowchart. So flowchart will, like we discussed already, is a diagram which will have stepwise activities or stepwise actions that we are supposed to take to complete a process or to complete a project. So diagram will not be a simple Excel file with arrows and all. For each different steps, we will have different kind of the icons that will represent some of the actions. So I have listed down some of the icons which are majorly used while creating the flowchart, and we'll go one by one. So if you see the first icon which says decision making, so decision making is something, let's say you are starting a process. Maybe I want to go downstairs to have a cup of tea. So first flowchart will start with this icon. So this is something which in your diagram, this will be your first icon, which will say that from here your process is starting. Next one is decision making, data collection. This icon we use for data storage. This is something wherein if you correlates a point wherein your data is already stored, in that case you will use this icon. This is something wherein if we see a delay in the process, we identify any kind of delay, in that case we will use this icon. This icon represents the documentation part, document or process, whatever you call it. This icon represents multiple document involvement in the process, and this is predefined process. So if I have to give you a simple example, let's say like I said, I want to go downstairs to have a cup of tea. In that case, my graph, the diagram will start with this start stop. Then this will further connect with an arrow which will say that go outside your door, go downstairs. Then again arrow connection with this decision making, which will say whether I am going to use lift or maybe I am going through the stairs. So this icon will represent that step. If I am going with the lift, then again further this diagram will continue with maybe a arrow connection with the next step. And if I am going to via stairs, that condition also, this particular icon will be connected to a further step with the help of an arrow. So these icons will be used while preparing a flow chart. Obviously, like I said, we will have further sessions wherein we will be discussing more about each of the tools. When when we are having those sessions, I will take you through how to prepare it, what all icons you are going to use, how you will connect each activity with others, and how your flow will end. But in this session we will only be discussing about the overview, so that you have a fair knowledge about the 7QC tools. So this was about the flow chart. Next one is cause and effect diagram, and this particular tool is also known as Fishbone or Ishikawa. So different people call it with the different names. Like I said, there are three names which are properly majorly known by everyone, and these are the three: cause and effect diagram, Fishbone diagram, or Ishikawa. So this tool will help you to see the relationship between your effects and causes. So this particular tool will help you basically whenever you are doing any kind of problem. So if you are in a problem solving approach, this tool will help you to establish a relationship between a cause and a problem statement. So this is the major thing, this tool will be very helpful when you are in a problem solving approach. This tool works on a 6M principle. 6M is basically man, machine, material, method, measurement and mother nature. So these are the 6 M's, basic principle of this tool. Whatever problem statement we have, we categorize them between these 6 attributes, and with that we will be able to know the relationship between each of the causes and the problem statement. So how this fishbone diagram looks like is, see, this is the way how you will prepare a fishbone graph, or you say Ishikawa diagram, or whatever you call it. So this is how this tool will look like. This is similar to a fish, like the name of this tool itself is a fishbone. So this middle arrow, this here you will have the problem statement. What is your problem? So poor gas mileage in a car. This is our problem statement. Now we discussed about 6M, right? 6M principle, that was measurement, machine, man, method and environment. Environment we also call as mother nature. So while we know that this is a problem statement, that the poor gas is resulting maybe in mileage in the car. So now we will see what all are the causes which is resulting to this problem, and whatever causes we identify, we need to list them under one of the attribute. This tool, when you are working on this particular tool, either you will go into a brainstorming session, or even if you do not have the brainstorming session, maybe you can sit with 2-3 people in your team who are well versed with the process or the knowledge of that particular vertical. It is always recommended to have a brainstorming session and then move into this fishbone diagram. So if you see under man, we have listed down few of the causes which may impact on the mileage. So under man we see poor driving. We all know poor driving can impact your mileage. No awareness, maybe not aware when to shift the gears, when to use clutch and all. So not aware about the vehicle at all and driving that vehicle. Poor service, maybe not not maintaining the car, not getting the car serviced within regular intervals. Poor maintenance, maybe daily usage, whenever you are going outside, coming inside, you are not taking care of your car, you are using it roughly. These are some of the causes which may become a problem statement for you. So these causes are related to a man, right? This can't be because of machines, because all these causes are driven by human beings. So hence we have listed all these causes under man. If you see under machine, we still have some of the causes like air fuel ratio is not proper, carburetor adjustment is not right, tires are not inflated right. So these are some of the causes which are a failure of machine, and hence these reasons are listed under machines. Similarly, if you see under material, improper lubricant, wrong fuel mixture, engine oil grade is low. So these are some causes which are related to materials. So obviously if you are not using right lubricant, if you are not using the right mix of fuel, When we say right mix of fuel, you must be knowing that right nowadays it is also approved by the government that the petrol, diesel or whatever fuel that you use in your car will have some mixtures. So that if you don't have the right if you don't have the right mixture, that will also impact your mileage. Now methods. Gear shifting is not done properly, wrong gear shifting, drive too fast, unusual braking. These can also impact your mileage, since these are processes, methods. Hence these are listed under methods. So before preparing this particular graph, you will need to do a brainstorming session with your team, or maybe 2-3 top employees or 2-3 team members who are well versed with your process. So once you list down your problem statement and you ask your teams that what could be cause which is impacting this problem, and you list down each of the causes in a list, and then you move to the next step, which is creating this particular graph. So once you create this graph, you put the causes in the attributes. You will know that which attribute you can work upon easily, where you need to improve your process, where you need to improve your materials, where you need changes in the machinery, where is the problem in the measurement, or maybe any kind of mother nature. So mother nature basically comes something which is not human controllable. Maybe you are going outside, you have a huge traffic. During traffic also you see an impact on your mileage. So traffic will become mother nature here. This is something which you cannot control, it is beyond your control. So this is the overview on fishbone diagram. In our maybe upcoming sessions, when we will be discussing fishbone, we will have in-depth discussion on this tool, and we will also create a fishbone diagram on that particular day. With that, we will move to the next tool, which is a check sheet tool. Check sheet is one of the tool which is not limited for the professionals also, not limited with the professionals only, but this is one of the tool which we can ideally which we should use every day in our lives also. What is check sheet? Check sheet is a structured prepared form for collecting data and analyzing the data points. So this is one of the structured way through which you will be able to prepare the data points, and you can analyze those data points to solve your problem statement. I will not go into these statements. These are something which are which you will be able to find on net, internet, Google, everywhere you will be able to find. What we are trying to do here is we are trying to make it very easy, simple, so that you know about each and every tools. So check sheet, if you if I talk in a layman language, so in a layman language, how should I define the check sheet? So let's say everyday routine. If you remember your college day, your school days, we used to create a daily life routine, right? Wherein we used to mention at 5 a.m. we will wake up, 5 to 6 we will do studies, then 7 to 9 we will have breakfast and other activities. Similarly, in the check sheet, whatever actions you need to do, or maybe you are supposed to do, you can list all those activities in a Excel file, maybe in a notebook, and whenever whatever timing is defined, you will add those pointers in that particular sheet, and you are supposed to complete all those actions within timeline. So it will work like a reminder, or maybe this will help you to structure your entire day. a simple example of check sheet if I have to show. See, this particular example is taken for a scenario wherein maybe a student is appearing for an exam. So check for this exam notification was the first step which this particular student was supposed to do. Once he completed this step, he checked this particular box, and this task was considered as completed. Then next step was print challan, pay fee in the bank, research for resources for study, buy books online. So whatever actions or activity that you are supposed to do, that you intend to do, simply just list down each and every activity in the check sheet and work accordingly. So this is what a check sheet is basically. Sorry, I think there was some internet connection issue. Just give me a minute. Let me recheck. Sorry for this issue. There was some connectivity issue which I have fixed now, and I hope I would be audible to each one of you. Great, thank you so much, Deepika. So moving to the next quality tool, that is histogram. I think I have some message from Agnes. Agnes, I will be covering this point also once we complete the rest three remaining tools. Thank you so much for your query, Agnes. So what is histogram? Histogram is a type of bar graph that represents the frequency distribution of data from a process. So this is again a kind of graphical representation of your data points, but in histogram this basically talk about the frequency of distribution. So let's say you have some data points which will have maybe number from 1 to 100, and against that you have some data points on the other axis. So this particular tool will help you showcasing or representing the data in frequency distribution part, which will with which you will be able to easily identify or see your data. You will be able to read your data points easily. This is how your histogram tool will look like. This is again one of the tool which will help you a lot on the variation, checking the variation between the data sets. I am not going into deep into histogram, since this is a a very interesting topic. Not only interesting, but this will be a very useful tool for the people who are from the BPO industry, or maybe the other industries. This particular tool helps a lot when we really have to check when we really have to check the variance between the attributes or the axis. Next one is a Pareto chart. I think last week we had a session on the Pareto when we discussed what is Pareto, why we use Pareto, but still we have some new joiners also on this call, so we will quickly discuss the Pareto chart. Pareto chart is also known as 80-20 principle, wherein your 80% of effects comes from 20% of the causes. So if you control your 20% of causes, you will be able to control your 80% of the effect on the outcome. So this is one of the tool which helps you to identify vital few regions which is impacting your outcome. So this is again a very powerful tool which helps you identifying the, you may say, low hanging fruit or vital few, or the the attributes on which if you work you will be able to get the maximum number of output, or you will be able to do course correction in your outcome. How this tool looks like is, this is how your tool will look like. If you see this particular graph, this graph is again having two axes. One is your type of defects, which is defect 1 to defect 10, and in the axis if you see the number of defects and cumulative percentage. So out of these 10 defects which are impacting your outcome, or maybe having a major issue on your outcome, with this tool you will be able to identify which are the defect types which you need to arrest on priority, which will help you to get the majority of the outcome. So with this tool, if you see defect 1, defect 2 and defect 3, these are the defect types. If you control these defects on priority, you will be able to control your problem statement, you will be able to control your outcome. So if you really need to know more on the Pareto, you can go to the channel and you can see the last session wherein we had a detailed discussion on the Pareto, what is Pareto, how to create Pareto, and even we created one Pareto on the session to give the download to everyone. Moving to the next tool, that is called as scatter diagram. Scatter diagram is again one tool which will not which is not used very frequently by everyone, but anyone who is involved in data mining at a higher level, they usually use this tool to see the relationship between two variables. When I say two variables, maybe two regions. If I have to quote an example, maybe when employee when an human being completes the graduation and the other human being completes maybe intermediates, what are the chances that they will get an opportunity or they will get the jobs? So relationship between two regions is something if we need to check, then we will use the scatter diagram. While this tool is, like I said, is not used majority of the time, but still we will have the session on this tool and we will be discussing in length about this tool in the upcoming sessions. But just for your reference, this tool is used to validate the relationship between two variables. Next one is control chart. Control chart is again a graphical representation of your data point. It is used for studying the process variation over time. It is a plot of process characteristics, usually through time with statistically determined limits. So these all are the statements which, like I said, you will be able to find it everywhere, but the intent of this session was to give you a brief give you an overview about the tools, and maybe about each of the tools we will connect and have a separate session on it. So this is how your control chart looks like. If we remember in our early school days, we used to learn lower control limit and upper control limit. These terms which we studied in the schools, now this will come into picture, and with the help of LCL and UCL, you will be able to create this particular chart which will help you identifying anything which is outlier, anything which is not in control, anything which is going beyond the limits. So this tool basically is used to identify the outliers, right? So anything which is below your lower control limit or above your above your upper control limit is called as your outliers. To identify the outliers, we use this particular tool. This is again one of the tool which is not used very frequently. This is used by the persons who are involved in the data mining, data analysis. While we will have the session on this particular tool, when we will be discussing in length about this tool, how to use, when to use, how to create this, what all calculation that we need to do to plot our numbers in a graphical view. So that is what we will be discussing in our upcoming sessions. So this was the seventh tool, the last tool in the 7QC tool list that we discussed. I think I had one query from Agnes, and the query was, may I know what may attributed to material in a BPO setup, maybe inbound voice. So if we typically refer to material in BPO industry, maybe your complaint calls, or how many times anything which is related to your process which got changed. Maybe if you have a problem statement like your AST is going high and you need to create a fishbone around it, then you will be doing your brainstorming session, and in that session you get to know that there was some process which got changed, or number of complaint calls, you see a spike in number of complaint calls. So these attributes will fall under your material category. I hope that answers your query, Agnes. Okay, so that's all that we had for the day, everyone. I would like to hear if you have any query, anything for me which I can help you with. Please drop a message in the chat window so that I can pick that up and help you with that. Okay. Also, I have shared the link to join our WhatsApp group, wherein you can get the regular updates about the upcoming sessions. Obviously, we have made sure that your privacy is protected, and hence no one would be able to see your contact number, neither you will be able to see anyone's contact number. I would urge to join the group so that you don't miss any of the notification about the sessions. Also, I have shared the YouTube channel link. If if you find these sessions helpful, please do subscribe the channel, or this will really encourage me in having the continuing these sessions, which will help everyone. So please do like and subscribe to the channel also, and if you think that these sessions are important and you really want to participate, so please do join our channel, our WhatsApp group also, so that you don't miss any of the notification about the upcoming sessions. So with that, we are done for the day. I think we completed the topic before 5 minutes today. We will be having next session maybe not only on the quality tools, but I am planning to have a next session on MS Excel, wherein we will talk about basic about MS Excel, maybe in overview what all options are there in the Excel, normal VLOOKUP and other functions. I will surely prepare a content around it, and maybe next Sunday same time we will again come on this session and discuss about MS Excel. Thank you so much everyone for your time. Have a great evening ahead. Bye bye. Take care.